And now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Donald. Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up. Briggs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I am Donald. Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up, Briggs. Hey, I love films, all types of movies and all that. And one of my favorite genres is the horror film, in particular zombie movies, though. But like everything else, they've evolved over time. Do you remember the original zombie movies like Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead? And then a little later, a couple of Resident Evil movies where the zombies were these mindless, really slow-moving creatures whom, unless you were a white woman or somebody trying to save somebody, you didn't have to worry about being caught by them, right? I mean, you can be at home just chilling, eating your dinner and all of that, and a zombie comes in, he's about 50 feet away. You keep eating, and then he moves around 10 feet away, no problem. He gets 5 feet away, you just pick up your dinner and then move over here and you can get away from him. Well, you know what? That was all before America got on this health kick and everybody started exercising and jogging and stuff and getting a little faster. Well, it turns out that even zombies have been working out and getting a little faster until. You remember the later Resident Evil films, and then I Am Legend and World War Z. I mean, these things now, these zombies are more buffer. They can even jump. I mean, they can run much faster now. Now you have to be somebody like Jesse Owens or Marion Jones in order to get away from them, huh? But as you can see, the trend that it's following, in the future, you're going to have to be able to run as fast as the Flash in order to get away from it. You know what I mean? So I can just see the new movies in the future coming out. You're going to see Flash versus the zombies. You see on the screen, the opening scene, you see Flash running across the screen, and then all of a sudden he's followed by about a dozen Flash-like zombies. But before the opening credit ends, the movie's over because the zombies are already taking over the world. So that's just the way it is, folks, and all that. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is tomorrow's Thespians, show that gives you an inside look as to actors inside the audition room. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and meet the three judges who are going to give them a little guidance, if you will, okay? And this gentleman is an internationally recognized actor and director who has starred in numerous Broadway shows, including Pippin and the Chorus Line, as well as the film The Chorus Line. He's also played Jack in many of the Jack in the Box commercials. Put your hands together for the incomparable Justin Ross.
Thank you, Donald. I'm glad you clarified that about the zombies. I was concerned that you were speaking about some of our former contestants.
He has starred in numerous commercials, films, and theater productions, and is a stand-up comedian. He's currently leaving his mark in the hosting world and can be seen hosting red carpet events and local video countdowns. Show some love for Kevin John, everybody. All right. And he's one of the top acting coaches in the world, as well as an accomplished television and stage actor. He played an engineer in Howard Stern's Private Parts and can currently be seen in NBC's pilot, The Mason Twins. Please welcome Barry Papick, everyone.
If there is a zombie film today, I'm in trouble because they always get the bald big guy first.
Actually, I thought it was the black guy always dies first. You know,
I was
just
trying
saying.
to be politically correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and get this show started tonight. We have three wonderful talent for you guys. But before we bring the first individual out, let's find out a little something about her, shall we?
Hi, everybody. We're back right here on tomorrow's Thespians, and we're sitting in with
Adele René.
Ooh, I like that. Adele René. It already sounds like a real movie star. So, Adele, tell us about yourself.
I am from Indiana, and I grew up there. I went to Syracuse University. I live in California currently, have for 11 years, and I'm following a career of acting while combining it with being an ambassador for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation so that I can help people with disabilities.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So how did you get bit with the acting bug anyway?
Well, my uncle, John Randolph Jones, was an actor his entire life, so I grew up watching him on TV. And my great-great-grandfather actually invented the very first motion picture camera. So there's been a lot of watching that type of work in my life growing up. So I've always been interested in it.
Well, you know what, acting is a very fun thing to do, but it sounds like from talking to you, you not only act, but you probably have some other things that you do as well. Why don't you tell us about it?
I have worked in casting. I've also worked in producing. I like to get my hands into anything. And I think like any actor, one of the things that attracts me to acting is that you're always getting to learn something new and in great detail, so that you can be as good as possible at it. That goes over into so many different types of work that you can do in the entertainment industry. And so I've gotten my hands in a lot of things, not writing, and I don't know how to edit, so don't ask me to do that. But I can pull off the other things.
Anybody ever tell you you've got that Nicole Kidman look?
I have heard that a lot. Yes. When I was growing up, I heard Julianne Moore all the time. Okay. Then I heard Nicole Kidman. And then there was a year of my life that people said Kate Winslet. And then for a while, people were saying, Meryl Streep, for a couple other years of my life. So maybe the bone structure changes as you go through. But there were themes, of different people. But I have heard that.
Were any of those your favorite actresses?
Well, of course, Meryl Streep.
Oh, she's awesome, isn't she?
I don't have words for how deeply her work touches me, and I admire her, and I'm grateful for her putting her work out there in the way that she does. And
what's your favorite film that she played in? I'll help you out. Mine was The Manchurian Candidate.
Okay, Sophie's Choice.
Sophie's Choice. Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Any of them would be.
Absolutely. Okay, so coming all the way from Indiana, that says an awful lot about you and your desire to make sure that this career is a success. What advice do you have for those out there who are aspiring to do the same thing that you're doing?
Fear will always exist. Try to put it aside so that it does not paralyze you. That's what I would say.
Well, and I like that. Short, sweet, to the point. Everybody make sure you remember this name one last time.
Adele René.
All right, Adele René. Well, good luck to you out there, and we look forward to seeing some great things from you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining tomorrow's Thespians.
Please welcome our first entertainer tonight, Adele René. Put your hands together, Adele René.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good.
I'm Adele René. And for the past 6 months, I've been living as a man. I've been dressing like one, eating like one, fantasizing like one, hugging like one. I've been laughing like one, speaking like one. And I've just been moving like one completely. It's actually been really interesting. I've been learning a lot about myself and also about men. But, there's nothing to lose. We should all just say everything we've ever wanted to say and do everything that we've ever dreamed of, because you never know how much time you have left. You should be free and not afraid. It's what I'm doing. But I have no other choice, because I'm taking on the role of Brian. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to say that? My brother has ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. I never even liked baseball. But he can't move unless I move for him. He can't be heard unless I say what I think he's thinking. And I always hope that I'm right. Just so that I'm being completely honest. I pray every day. Every day that he goes sooner than later. Because in the final stages of this disease, there are things that you should never have to know. So for now,
I'm living like a man. It's not going to last for very much longer, but my brother, he has ALS. Therefore, so do I.
Yeah, René, everybody. All right, great job. You ready to find out what the judges thought about
Yes,
that?
sure.
Okay, Mr. Justin Ross, would you get us started, please?
Sure. Hi, Adele.
Hi.
You know, it's a little hard for me to be objective here because you've asked us to judge your acting based on your writing ability. And I have to say that it wasn't until towards the end of your monologue that, and I read it prior, you know, trying to understand it. Your interpretation did help me understand it better than on the written page. But it wasn't until the very end that I really understood that perhaps you were living as a man because he couldn't speak for himself. So you were on the phone talking to different health agencies or something, pretending to be him in order to get his proper care. I don't know if that was your intention as a writer, but what I'm saying is that it took me out of the lack of clarity took me out of your performance. I got that it was very heartfelt, and I did appreciate the emotion that you brought to the end of the monologue, and I felt that was very sincere. But next time I would like to see you do something that was structured in such a way that I could only focus on your acting as opposed to trying to get it a little bit clearer. Thank you.
Kevin.
All right, Adele. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm glad you're not a man or living as a man because you're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, I kind of disagree a little bit with Justin. I did actually enjoy the writing and, you know, as well as it correlates to the performance. You know, and first of all, let me start off with the good. I really enjoy your authentic emotional connection to the piece that was obviously evident towards the end of it. And you know, one thing I can always say is I always praise an actor or actress that's willing to go there. And you know, I believe the authenticity of your emotions were on point. Now, it did take a while, and this is where I believe he's talking about Justin's talking about the clarity thing, to get into it. And initially, what I mean by that is I didn't initially quite know exactly where you were going with it, but I also think that adds to the monologue because that brings a certain level of suspense to it as well, where you're trying to figure out, okay, what is she trying to say? Is she, you know, is she saying that she's a man to sympathize with him? Is she saying that she's a man so she can do the things that he's unable to do for himself? So, you know, with that being said, I do like the suspense that it brought to it. But overall, you know, the only thing I would say is just in the beginning when you were talking about, you know, eating like one, hugging like one, kind of going through everything. If there's a way that you can kind of convey that while you're going through it so that it doesn't just sound like it's just words that are coming out. But overall, I think it was fantastic. I really enjoy your emotional connection, and your emotional connection got me connected. So,
Good.
thank you.
Barry.
Adele, if you were living as a man, I would need a lifestyle change. And I'm too old for that. You can't teach old dogs. I agree with what these guys have said. The problem was that the first paragraph was so much exposition that we didn't get to see you act. You know, you tried to lay out the facts, and you know what I would have liked to see you do was sort of just drop into, you know, feeling like the man at the beginning of the monologue. And if we saw that, then it would have fulfilled the arc, because you have a wonderful instrument, you know, incredibly emotional, and you tapped. I thought you tapped into the emotion really well and really easily. What we didn't see was the arc of the piece. It became very flat because you know, you settled on exposition, and it's a problem when you've written something and then perform it. You know, you want to lay out, oh, this is what my piece is, rather than dropping into the performance of the piece. I appreciate that, but what you have to do is disconnect yourself as the writer and really put yourself in as the actress, which you did at the end. And I thought that we got there at the end, but the beginning needed some work. But I really liked it. I thought that there were some really wonderful things in it. It needs to be laid out differently and directed a little bit differently, and you need to remove yourself as the writer from the piece.
Okay, thank you, judges. Anything you want to add, Adele?
No, thank you for your feedback.
Adele, René, everybody. Thank you so much. All right, before we bring our next contestant out, let's find out a little something about her, shall we?
Hi, everybody. You're sitting in on tomorrow's Thespians today, right here with Linda Leak, and we have with us
Andrea Jimenez.
Andrea Jimenez. Can't you tell that's a real thespian name? I mean, already I can tell you're going places, Andrea.
Good, thanks.
Well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And what do you like the most about acting?
Oh my God. It's just, it's almost just an escape from reality. But I love it. I love getting into these different characters. Yeah, that's basically it. I love playing pretend.
I do understand, trust me. And I'll tell you, if you had your choice of all of the actors out there in the universe, which one would you prefer to work with the most?
Oh my God. Wow, that's a hard question. I would say female Meryl Streep, and then male it would have been Robin Williams, but we actually lost him. So yeah.
And tell us, what's the scariest part of an audition that you've ever done before?
The scariest part of an audition is probably just walking in and like falling straight on my face.
Oh no. Oh, that's just about it. You want to expound on that?
It's never happened.
Oh, that's just something that you're afraid of.
Yeah. Other than that, that's auditions. I try to have fun at auditions. I try not to get too nervous.
All right. And have you ever, let's say, forgotten a line or a prop or anything like that?
Not a prop. I've definitely forgotten a line one time. I was in a stage production of Office Space, and I opened up the scene. I opened up the whole play, and I felt like a whole minute went by, and I just couldn't. The first line would not pop into my head, and then it obviously did. But yeah, it took a while for the first line to come out.
I can also understand that one too. I've had a few of those. Well, tell us, what types of projects have you worked on so far?
Mostly stage, also comedy sketch, a lot of comedy sketch, improv, and then I was part of this student film. It was a short film. That was a lot of fun. There was no dialogue. It was just all facial expressions. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I've mostly done stage work, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what are your short-term goals with this whole acting thing?
Short-term goals. You know what? To be honest, I hope it's something I continue for a while. I'm not looking for fame or anything like that. As long as I'm able to still do it, then I'm happy, whether it be short-term or long-term,
And so how'd you get into this anyway? What, did you have that acting bug from very little? Some people just come out of the womb this way, or was it something that...
I don't think I came out of the womb this way. It was something I was kind of interested in high school, but I was too self-conscious about it. So I didn't join drama club. I didn't join theater. I didn't do anything like that in high school. So what happened was my mom wanted to get my brother into something, so she got him into acting classes. And at the time, I wasn't really doing anything, and it was right after high school. And she's like, well, do you want to do it too? And I'm like, all right, I'll try it out. And oh man, ever since then.
That's all it takes, right?
That's all it took.
There's also something about being with a live audience where you can just feed off that audience, and once they give it to you, you're just like really feeling it. Have you had that experience before?
Yes, that is honestly what drives me. That's why I love doing live stage performances, because it's just the adrenaline rush. It definitely feeds me. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, we're certainly happy to have you here, Andrea Jimenez, and welcome to tomorrow's Thespians. And good luck to you out there, and look forward to seeing some great things from you in the future.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Please welcome Andrea Jimenez. Andrea Jimenez, everyone.
Hello,
Hi. Hi.
my name's Andrea Jimenez, and my monologue is about myself. I just recently lost my mother, and I'm at the funeral. All my life I've tried to understand what happened to my mother exactly. I was never really able to find any answers. You know, I wish I could have known her dreams, her thoughts, the sound of her voice in a normal conversation. Just to think that all those years she sat in her living room without a care, without a worry, you know, and without any memory, and not because she wanted to, but due to the disease that took over the quality of her life. Like, who was she before she got so sick? What kind of woman would I would have become if she hadn't gotten sick? And I'm not saying my failures and my successes are because of the relationship with my mom, but I do feel she's a missing link to an important part of my life. I envy my older siblings because they hold memories of having conversations with her, and I would never have that. I think the earliest collection I have of my mother is of her brushing my hair when I was little. And there's this other memory I have where me and my younger sister wanted to go to the store, and we were getting ready to walk there. And there was this house we had to pass by where we knew a dog would come running off the porch, just barking loudly, and me and my sister were scared to death of that dog. But man, our mom held her hand so tight, and she just walked us right in front of the house. You know, she was so determined, and my heart just swelled up with pride. And that moment has always stuck with me, I think, because shortly after that, she couldn't really do much for herself. Anyway, I was told that my mother had Parkinson's disease and also dementia. So I read book after book about Parkinson's disease, and it just didn't make any sense. It didn't add up, you know. After a while, my father just threw out all of her medication. You know, it was just making things worse. Her hygiene got worse, of course. She had to wear disposable diapers. It's just a mystery to me how one part of her brain is completely shut down. But she would remember words to a song or a prayer. And she used to like watching I Love Lucy reruns. And she would understand something that is funny, but she wouldn't understand sadness or when something was serious. Her eyes were blue. They reminded me a lot of the sea, you know, deep and mysterious, but also soothing, calming. It's just frustrating and it's heart-wrenching when I used to just see her there in the living room, a blank stare, not knowing her thoughts or not knowing what she was feeling. My greatest fear is to forget my own children and memories I've held with them. And I hope that never happens. And seeing everybody here brings a lot of joy to me. But I know she's in a better place. And because up there in heaven, I know she'll look down and she'll remember. Thank you.
Andrea Jimenez, everybody. Andrea, all right, great. Let's find out what the judges thought of that performance, okay? All right, Justin, start us off, please.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
Well, the very first thing I'd like to say is it was not really clear to me who you were talking to. I mean, I gather that are you speaking to the congregation and trying to, in terms of honoring your mother? I mean, I did not know who you were speaking to, which is the first question that you have to ask yourself when you're performing a monologue, because otherwise it just seems like you're talking to, you know, the ether. And I'm sorry that for all the emotion that, did you write this piece?
My mom wrote it.
Your mom wrote it.
Yeah.
So for all the emotion that is available in this piece, it all seemed very much one level.
Okay.
I didn't, and it's there, you know. I mean, the apology. I'm not saying that my successes are you know, or failures were my, you know, because of my mother.
Yeah.
I envy my older siblings. My heart swelled with pride when she, you know, there was nothing.
There's no range. Yeah.
Exactly. My mother's blue eyes, you know, the beauty in them. I wanted to see the beauty in your mother's blue eyes through your eyes. And I didn't get that. So I would encourage you, if you perform this again, to really go sentence by sentence, word by word, because it's there. It gives you all those opportunities, and really, you know, make a meal of it. I'm not saying to overact and to be melodramatic, but to really, really own each and every one of those beats.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome.
Kevin.
Hey, Andrea.
Hi.
All right. All of these emotional, heavy pieces. I'm gonna need a tissue box. But you know, at any rate, I agree a lot with what Justin said. You know, one of the first things that I written down on my paper was rushing, and I felt that you just kind of rushed through a lot of it. You know, there was a lot of moments in there where, you know, I was looking at your breaths and sighs and things of that sort. But I just felt that you kind of rushed through the whole thing, and it's a great piece.
Yeah.
And you know, and I didn't know if that was maybe nerves or whatnot. You know, I know it's a lot difficult performing in front of such a esteemed judge panel as this. So, but no, you know, as far as the good things, you know, kind of like I told Adele that I went before you. You know, I always admire and respect an actor that goes for it emotionally. And I do want to say that your emotions, you were clearly emotionally connected to this piece. Now, with the tears and crying and stuff like that, that's another thing I was going to say. There was a lot of crying throughout the whole thing, and I would have preferred for you to try to find your moments when to. Now, with that being said, the tears should obviously come organically. You know, you should never be like, okay, cry after this sentence.
Yeah.
Things of that sort. But, you know, I would have just loved to have seen a lot more levels with it, you know, and it was kind of like it was the same emotion and same voice throughout the whole thing. And I, you know, from hearing you speak, I see that you have levels to your voice and punctuality. So I would have just loved to have seen a little bit more of that, because it was just all kind of just one level. But I do like the emotional connection, and also I was going to say there is some comedy in here too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you know, don't be afraid to go for those comedic moments as well. You know, just to bring a little bit of fluctuation and balance to the whole thing. But overall, good job.
Thank
know?
you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Barry.
I am.
Hi.
The first thing I have to say is that is the biggest watch I've ever seen in my life. I have things on my wall that aren't that big.
Well, apparently you've never seen Flavor Flav's clock on his neck.
I have. I know Flavor Flav. And that's right up there. Emotion isn't acting. If emotion was acting, my mother would have won an Academy Award. My grandmother would have been Duza. So what we have to do is be careful that we're just not falling into the pace of emotion rather than really doing the piece. And I think these guys sort of hit it on the head. I remember at my mother's funeral, my uncle we were at graveside, my sister and myself, and obviously very emotional. And my uncle was walking down this hill, and he was walking with his walker, and it looked like he was going to fall at any minute. And I turned to my sister and I said, I will bet you $50 that man just does not make it down the hill. And we just started laughing, and we were graveside, and you experience every emotion, just like you would anywhere else. And that was the problem today, is that it became one note and it became general. I think Justin really hit it on the head when he said, who are you speaking to? Because it was never really specific. It became general. I thought that, I thought that it was set up really well. I thought, you did a good job. But what you needed to do was explore the nuances in the piece, so it rides, in truth rather than just in emotion.
Okay. Did that make sense what they were saying about it?
Totally makes sense, all three of you. Yeah,
Do you wanna,
I agree.
Do you want to answer the question, who was it that you were talking to?
It was the guest at the funeral.
Yeah, but again, we saw that. I mean,
Yeah.
and we know that from the piece. But what I want to do is, and what Justin was talking about, is actually seeing you see them. What we saw was generally who you were speaking to.
Yeah.
But what we want to see in your eyes is who you're talking to. So it doesn't make a difference who you tell us you're talking to. We have to see who you're talking to.
Yeah.
If you were to have another opportunity to do it, you think you can take the notes that they gave you and all of it and make it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Everybody, Andrea Jimenez.
Thank you.
Andrea, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Andrea. All right, going to bring out our final contestant this evening, but before we bring them out, let's find out a little something about them, shall we?
Hi, everybody. We are back on tomorrow's Thespians today with Mr. Michael Edelstein. Hi, welcome to the show, Michael.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me on.
I am great, and I think Mr. Donald Briggs is the one that gets to all the thank yous here at this great show. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from New York, and I actually started acting when I was a kid. I was sort of inspired by my dad. I used to watch the Ed Sullivan Show and all these different places, and I was an only child, so I liked to kind of perform. And so he suggested that I take some acting classes, and that's where it started, and I just haven't been able to get rid of the bug.
Well, I know. Once you catch that bug, it's really exciting, isn't it? So that sounds great. Ed Sullivan, first of all. Yeah. So we're not telling on our age or anything like that. No way. But, Ed Sullivan has had some great people on there, all the way from Michael Jackson to everybody got started on the Ed Sullivan Show. So that makes you among many legends.
Well, I was on the Ed Sullivan Show, but I made believe I was.
Right. It's a good start.
It's a good
start. So let's back up then, because you mentioned something about performances. What else do you do in addition to acting?
Well, I am a entertainment contractor, actually. So I book bands for concerts and events, and I've been doing that full-time since 1995.
Wow. We need to talk after the show.
And then I'm starting to do a little bit of PR as well. So that's very exciting as well. I've done I've been involved with some really cool events, like post-Grammy parties and. You know, well, I can't say some of the others, you know.
Well, it's always so great to be on the full spectrum of everything behind the scenes and in front of the scenes because
It all makes it work.
you get it makes it all work and it gives you more confidence when you go out there in front of those judges just to having I see the confidence right there in your eyes there to be able to go out there and really do a great job and this is basically all about just them critiquing and giving their expressions of how you could be a better thespian. So that's
not just me. I hope everybody that's involved here is
Absolutely. I mean, because everybody has got so much potential that comes on this show. So it's going to be really exciting to see. So tell us, first of all, who's your favorite actor or actress?
Well, I like Harrison Ford.
Me
Lots,
too.
yeah. I feel very sorry for what happened, but yet he's an extremely lucky man, Yeah. But he's just so
awesome.
very, very, very natural.
What was the best film you liked him in?
The Fugitive.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it's a hard choice. I mean, because I like Al Pacino. I'm always watching The Godfather. On
Ooh, intense.
different scenes. I mean, they're so. And then I like. I don't know. I like Jessica Lange very much as an actor.
She's great.
She's wonderful. She was fantastic in Francis, very much. And
So what kind of projects have you worked on?
oh, I've done various commercials. I've been in a couple of movies.
Which ones?
Well, Barry Levinson. I was in Avalon, and a movie with Mickey Rourke and Stephen Baldwin called Fall Time.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
He's pretty intense too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And I've done a little web series. I did a web series, funny one called Llama Cop, and then some commercials. So that's and theater, of course, which I really do love. And I did a great little play when I got into town. I was fortunate, and that won a Dramalog Award. There was Dramalog at that time, not backstage, and then it was actually the movie was called Your Life is a Feature Film, and the movie Groundhog Day. Remember that one?
Yes, Bill Murray.
Yeah. It was Groundhog Day. No, it was not Groundhog Day. It was the one with Jim Carrey, where the director is he's filming his life. He's controlling his controlling his life. Oh, it slips my mind. All these movies.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's done so many. I've got to go through the files.
Anyway, they kind of took the idea almost.
Well, I'll tell you one thing's for sure. You're the next Bill Murray, Jim Carrey, and Harrison Ford, and we can't wait to see you out there with those judges. Thank you, and congratulations in advance, and we appreciate you joining tomorrow's Thespians here today.
Thank you.
Everybody remember that name. Let's hear it one more time.
It's Michael Edelstein.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Good luck, everybody.
Michael Edelstein, everyone. Give it up, Michael Edelstein.
Hi, I'm Michael Edelstein.
Hey, Michael.
How are you today? And I'm actually going to be doing a different monologue than what you have.
Oh.
All right?
Way to throw us off there.
Well, So I'm going to be doing Henry O for a Muse of Fire from Henry V.
I like it.
Okay? All right. Oh, for a muse of fire that would have set in the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars. And at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon gentles all. The flattering raised its spirit that it dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this window the very cast that did affright the air at Agincourt? Part. Since a crooked figure may in little place attest a million. And let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose, within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Into 1,000 parts divide one man and make imaginary puissance. Think when we speak of horses that you see them, printing their proud hoofs in the receiving earth, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings. Carry them with you here and there, jumping all times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hour, for the which supply. Admit me chorus to this history, who prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play. Thank you.
Michael Edelstein, everybody. All right, good to see you, good to see you. You did well. He was really nervous today and all that, so let's find out what the judges thought of that, okay? Okay, Justin, please.
Gee, you know, Michael, I can't really judge you too fairly because I didn't understand a lot of what you said. It could be the room, it could be your diction. I don't know. I just it kind of fell on deaf ears. So I stopped trying to judge my critique on the actual words and just watch you as if you were speaking a foreign language. That said, I got a lot of playfulness, a lot of puckishness, and a lot of irony from this character, a knowingness. So I would hesitate to be too critical about the performance, other than the fact that I didn't hear the words. So I don't know. That's a problem I find a lot here in Los Angeles. Do you do a lot of film and television work?
I do some.
And stage work?
I do some of that too, yes.
Yeah. Because I find here a lot of people, because of the familiarity with working with a camera, where it's not about talking loud and just making it very real. Unfortunately, in a setting like this, with a high ceiling and a vast room, the sound just got lost. But I'll be curious to hear what my fellow judges said, because he's got younger ears, and this guy's, a Shakespeare personified kind of guy. So.
Yeah. And by the way, I also have younger ears, but that's not.
No, Justin got it right. Well, seeing that I am the youngest one up here. First of all, Michael? Are you familiar with Rowan Atkinson?
No, I'm not.
You ever seen that movie Bean?
No.
Okay. You remind me dead on this actor. Maybe it's just your mannerisms, your the way that you are, but he's an English actor, very comedic. You may want to check him out. You may be able to do stand-in work for him. Who knows? At any rate, that had nothing to do with my critique for you. I'll say this first of all, kind of like Justin. I'll be honest, I did not hear or was able to understand a lot of it, and I don't know if that was the dialogue. I don't know if that was, the language or just your articulation. But, I'll be honest. For me to be able to sit here and not understand, I'd probably say about 70% of what you were saying, I was thoroughly entertained. You had a very unique way of bringing this to life. And what I mean by that is, first of all, your levels. They were very playful. And there was a depth to each one that you went on that made it enjoyable to watch. I mean, you could have been up there speaking another language saying, I hate Kevin John, and I still would have been drawn into it because of the fact of how you were able to convey it. So I do appreciate that. There were a few times, volume-wise, where I did lose you a little bit, and not diction speaking, but I just couldn't hear you. But I would have liked to have known what you were saying, and I would have liked to have known what you were talking about, because I'm sure that definitely would have played played a role in my critique. But it was very fun to watch. You're a very interesting guy, very fun guy to watch, and I would like to see more of you.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's no problem. I guess the sound check might be a nice thing, but
Were you nervous at all?
No, I wasn't. I just I guess one of those things. I just didn't realize the room, so that's maybe what happened.
Don't worry, let me get a word in edgewise.
Get back.
First of all, you wouldn't be the first actor up there who said I hate Kevin John. That is so. That
The judges love me too, as you can see.
these guys are both wrong. You did a really wonderful job, and there wasn't a word that I missed. And there wasn't a word that I missed because you were really dropped in. When you first started, I said, "Oh my God, he can't be heard." But then you were so connected to the material that I understood every word.
But Barry, do you know the monologue? You know this.
Of
yes?
course, but
No, but it does. I mean, when you're talking about Shakespeare,
Yeah, but
I am a
just to watch
pentameter,
him, absolutely.
And,
just to watch him, I can understand everything that he did. I understand what you're saying. The space doesn't, really project. But I watched him and I understood. When he was talking about the horses, I saw the horses. When he was so involved that even if I didn't know this, and I do, I would have still been right there with him. So I have to disagree with you on this. And I have to, I thought, you a New Yorker?
I am.
Yeah, I mean, that, it's funny, I did.
But I've been out of New York for a while.
Yeah, but it's still there. I did Richard III with Al Pacino, and a lot of people said, well, how could anybody do Shakespeare with a New York accent? Well, Al certainly did Shakespeare with a New York accent. Here lies the. It was unbelievable, and so I had no problem with that. I was right there with you. I thought that. Yes, these guys are right. You have to be heard. It's part of what we have to do. It's our job. But I thought that you were really dropped in. I thought it was a simple adjustment, for you to be heard more. Like I said, I had no problem with it. And I thought the work was very good and fun. I thought there were a lot of levels to it, a lot of colors to it, and I enjoyed it. So, the adjustment of being heard isn't that big a thing. I think that's something that you could probably do in a heartbeat. So just make sure that next time that you fill the room. Always fill the room. And when you're doing Shakespeare, by the way, always fill the room.
Barry, you always fill the room with your
Anything you want to say, Michael?
No, I just really appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Okay,
well, thank you so
This
much,
has been
Michael.
a great
Appreciate it.
experience.
Michael
Thank you
Edelstein,
very much.
everybody. Thank you so much. General, let's just talk in general about all of the contestants that you guys have seen over the last few weeks. Kevin, I think this is the first time you've been here, so.
I have to compare it to.
Yeah, you've nothing to compare it to, but let's start with you,
But
Justin.
you'll find a way.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
Justin,
bridge the
in
gap.
general, all of the contestants that you've seen come through here, just tell us what you thought about them and what it is that you're looking for the other contestants who's going to be coming up pretty soon.
Okay, could we start with Barry?
Barry, you want to go ahead and get us started
Absolutely.
here? Okay. Barry.
Let me just say that this season has been so much better than last season, and I voiced that before. The actors that we've seen, have been great. I think that the one thing that we've seen a lot of is, actors who write.
Right.
And they come in, in the writer's mode instead of the actor's mode, and this is an acting performance. Right. So I think that the important thing is if you've written the piece, remove yourself from it and attack it as an actor. Do the work. And, there's no miracles to what we do. Mm-hmm. You have to do the work. If you're unprepared, we see that you're unprepared. So do the work as an actor. Come in, be prepared, and show us, be exciting. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between a boring actor and an exciting actor. Be exciting.
Do you think it's a good idea for actors to write their own piece and perform it, or do you think when they're doing a monologue, for the most part, they should just come in doing somebody else's?
I think that they should come in and do somebody else's piece. But if they choose to do their own piece, then they have to totally disconnect from it. I think what happens is if you do your own piece, you've taken 1/3 of the creative, triumphant out of it. You don't have a director, you don't have a writer, you just have you. So I think that the best thing is to take a piece that's already been written and let's see what you could do as an actor.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. Justin, are you ready?
Sure.
I can give you an extra minute if you want, to come.
I don't need an extra minute to come.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Justin's ready. Justin's ready.
Did you hear that? Was did you get that?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree with Barry. We have seen some wonderful talent this year, and very challenging material. Mm-hmm. And like Barry said, it's putting an extra bit of weight on your task to write something and then perform it. If you choose a monologue that has been tested out before, so to speak, then there's a reason why certain authors achieve the success they have, because they have the skill set to help the actor bring their own interpretation to the piece. And not everyone has that ability.
Right.
And so since we're here to judge them as actors and actresses, is that politically correct to use the term actresses?
Yes, well, I know.
Are there still actresses, or are we all actors?
I think you just offended some people by
Yes,
saying
I'm
that.
sure.
Somebody asked me that show when I was writing the thing. When I give the closing credits, I always say actors, and I say I go back because the name is tomorrow's Thespians. So I go back into the old days when everybody was actors and the men used to play the women part. So that's why I use the word actors. So I think everybody knows what it is.
The men still do play women's roles.
And a lot of men
these days.
still play female roles. Exactly. Yeah.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, but that's
Tyler Perry. There you
exactly
go.
call that acting.
Haven't you seen Tu Wong Fu?
Well, Eddie Murphy's done that a number of times. So a list of actors who's been doing that stuff well. So Kevin, I know you haven't seen the previous shows, but in general, what is it that you're looking for the actors who are going to be coming on the stage pretty shortly?
Well, what I can say is, like Barry, I got to witness last season as well, and I can compare to last season. And, the thing that's difficult with the monologue is, you're really given a short period of time, a minute or less, to take the viewer, the reader, on this emotional ride. So when I say ride, I mean with every ride you have levels to it. And one of the things that I see that a lot of actors are challenged with, and even myself when giving monologues, is being able to take the viewer on that ride. And depth of going in and up and down and around and things of that sort.
Right.
So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing more, or I would like to see more of, while people do that, and just to continue to stay committed to it. As an actor, you have to make a choice, you have to make a decision, and when you make that choice, go with it. So, yes.
Okay.
Just to wrap that up, and I think Kevin is exactly right. Don't lose the arc.
Right.
Understand that every piece has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And Kevin said before that pieces shouldn't be so laid out. Emotion comes when it comes. But that's just not true. Pieces have to be laid out. We're artists. So what we have to do is make sure that we understand the beginning, the middle, and the end. This isn't a spoken word, contest. This is a show about monologues, and there's difference.
Okay.
There's a difference between spoken word, and there's a difference between monologues.
So thank you, wonderful judges. I think that's a lot of valuable information that you guys just gave, and I'm hoping that everybody who's listening, the actors and all that, take to heart what they said. So as always, we're going to bring the contestants, the performers back out here once again for a final word from the judges. So performers, please join me on the stage. Everybody, give it up. Performers. This time we're going to start right from left. I want to hear Barry, and I'm going to go this way. So Barry, last minute comments for these three contestants, please.
Absolutely. I think this was a perfect example of acting, good actors with some acting problems. And I thought everybody really took their work and did something special with it. I think that you have to be specific. I think, you have to be heard, and you have to be the actor, not the writer. And it's so easy, I write also, and it's so easy to get lost in the writing of a piece rather than the acting of the piece. You have to separate yourself, and you have to say, now I am the actor. But I thought you all did some really nice things, and I enjoyed what you did today.
Nice. Kevin?
Yeah, I guess to piggyback off of that, first of all, I want to say I really like the commitment that everyone had to their piece. Everybody was committed to their piece, and it's enjoyable to watch when you see someone that has a genuine connection to what they're saying, and they're not just saying words. I guess with that being said, obviously, find your levels within your piece as well. Find the moments, find the comedy, find the drama, find everything that encompass the art. But for the most part, it was enjoyable to watch. And I'm glad that Michael finally brought something light here. So I didn't cry the last one. So thank you for bringing something clear here, and I appreciate it, all of you guys. Good work. Good work.
And Justin.
Just prior to the taping today, and we were figuring out where the judges would be sitting, and it was decided I would go first. Barry said, "Oh, well, good, because Justin's the nice one." Well, I don't think that opinion might be so true today. I certainly didn't mean to come off too harsh. But that said, as both Barry and Kevin said, I did, and I hope that it came through in at least the second half of my critique, that with each one of you, I did enjoy watching you. And I think all of you have wonderful voices, both literally and figuratively, and as he's already said, to just now mine the gold that is already there within each one of you and the pieces that you chose. So thank you again for coming and sharing and being open to the criticism.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much. All right, everybody. Come to the end of the show once again. So, as always, let's thank the judges, thank the audience members, thank the crew, and thank these wonderful performers, all right? Thank you all so much. Join us again next time on Tomorrow's Thespians, all right, everybody? Until then, take care.